Hey guys, I'm Cosmin, and after 4 years of using the Sigma Art as my primary lens kit, most of which the 18 to 35, all that good stuff, the 50 to 100, I decided to switch into a new line of Cine lenses, of course the budget ones, because the RE primes are just a bit out of my price range. And before the Sigma, I had the Samyang. It's Samyang in Europe, and I think it's Rokinon in North America. And I switched to the IRIX. And I have here the 45. I shoot and edit a lot of fashion videos, and when you're a freelance cinematographer or a content creator, you don't really have a single niche. I mean, I don't just shoot advertising. I also do sports, corporate, and I was looking for a lens with a clean look, and I was looking at 3 brands: the Mikey, the DZO, and the IRIX. I first heard about IRIX when they popped up online, and I think they first launched the 150 Cine lens and then the 11 millimeters. And I was like, yeah, for a cinematographer, a content creator, you need something that will get you close-up shots, macro. You need something that can be put on a gimbal, because at the time, Mikey had like the classic 24, 35, 50, 85. I think they're coming out with a 16. So I was looking for something a bit different. So when you pair up 150 and an 11 millimeters, it's just that different. Now they have the whole lineup. So 11 millimeters, 15, 21, 30, the 45, and the 150. So that's 6 lenses in a whole production kit. I decided to get the IRIX because out of all of them, it had the cleanest look. And I was looking for lenses that are bigger. Of course, not necessarily heavier, which the IRIX is, but bigger because when I'm shooting handheld, I find it a lot easier to pull focus. I find it a lot easier to hold the camera steady and to mount all the accessories on the camera. So this is the first thing I like. It's sharp without looking like a photo lens. IRIX has been making photo lenses for a while, and the reviews are great on those, but I was looking for something which the 45 has. I was looking for something without that extra sharpness that photo lenses have, without that extra sharpness that I always found in the Sigma Art lineup. It retains that cinematic feel, for a lack of a better word. Image is crisp, but it doesn't flare much. It's sharp enough to retain your attention without thinking you have a diffusion filter on. Like for example, I was feeling with the Mikey lens. If you're looking for something with a strong character, I think those are the DZO. The IRIX, I would say they're a cinematic but digital feeling lens. The second thing I like is that it's heavy. So that's a good thing and also a bad thing. We'll get into it. So the 45 especially makes your camera rig quite heavy. And that's a good thing because you don't have those micro jitters you usually do. But the bad thing is, if you're expecting your camera rig to be light, this isn't it. It's not gonna be light with this lens. I used to hold my Pocket 6K Pro with the Sigma Art 18 to 35 and just go around town, have a coffee, shoot something, shoot some B-roll. And being able to hold it for a few hours was good. I can't really do the exact same thing with this one, so it's a no to run and gun scenarios, especially for long periods of time, and yes to having a steady rig. The focus pull on this lens is 180 degrees, and when you compare it to something like the Sigma Art line, which is a photo lens, that has a 90-degree focus pull. So when you pull focus, when you're shooting not wide open, but let's say 2.8, you have to micro adjust it because you exaggerate in one direction, you miss the eyes, you pull the focus the other way, now you're on the background. So with a lens that has a focus pull of 180 degrees, it's much more forgiving and you have much more distance to correctly pull focus. It's much more organic and it's also much smoother, either if you're pulling focus directly on the lens or using a follow focus like a Nucleus Nano, for example. And it works great with this one, even the Nano. The fourth thing I like is the low focus breathing, which is kind of surprising, and it's a good thing for the IRIX Cine lineup because in this price range, you don't really see this. And this isn't really a cheap lens. It's like 1,100 to 1,200 euro. But comparing this to a real, actual Cine lens used on movie sets, this is cheap. And it's surprising it has such low focus breathing. In movies, when they pull focus, your attention shifts to where the director or the cinematographer wants it to go. And you try to do the same thing, but it's like the whole image is moving in and out. And a real cinema lens doesn't have this unwanted effect, which is caused by the actual glass elements in the lens moving. Now, what I do and don't love about this lens, the weight. I told you we were going to go back to the weight. This is 1.2 kilograms. So I love it when it comes to steady shots. I don't really love it when it comes to carrying the camera around. When you add the camera that is around 1.3 kilograms, which is in my case a 6K Pro, with the monitor, a V-mount, a cage, for a gym workout, it's not that heavy. But when you're holding multiple shots on a day of shoot for 20, 30 seconds, those 4 or 5 kilograms are going to kill your back. So either hit the gym heavier or get an easy rig. What really doesn't matter for me is the part about the hood. So I've heard this in a lot of YouTube videos that the hood is magnetic and it comes off easily when you grab the lens by the hood. And when you try to pick up the lens, voila, you don't really pick up the lens, you just grab the hood because it's magnetic, as I said earlier. So lens hood is equipped with magnetic lock system. I personally use a matte box. So the fact that the hood is magnetic doesn't really affect me. But first of all, don't grab any lens by the hood, ever. And second of all, use a matte box. It's much easier to put filters on. The reason why IRIX makes its lens hood magnetic is that the front element is smooth and you can attach different matte boxes and filters on it. So I don't really use the hood, magnetic or not, but I've heard all these reviews about people grabbing lenses by the hoods and the hoods being so easily detachable. And it's not really a problem because when you buy a Cine lens, you're not really using the default hood, magnetic or otherwise. So use a matte box and you'll be okay.